Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. Early voting continues in Victoria. We have the latest numbers. All under one roof, Victoria first responders celebrate a milestone opening. Plus, DeWitt County leaders are mostly happy. Find out what they want to improve in their part of the crossroads.
Well, the winds will be a problem again tomorrow. You probably noticed them this afternoon. And then we're not likely to see some near record high temperatures. I mean, we're looking even at a couple of hundreds on down toward the river. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment.
Two Goliad star basketball players highlight their emotions after a wild buzzer beater versus the Oakland Bulldogs. We'll hear from both of them later on in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry has the night off. If you have not voted yet, there's still time. Early voting for the March 3rd primary runs through Friday. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. this week with the election day on Tuesday, March 3rd. Early voting takes place at the Dr. Patty Dotson Public Health Center at 2805 North Navarro. Here's a look at how many people voted early today. 699 people voted in person and 89 mail-in ballots were received. So far for the March 3rd primary, 4,547 people cast their ballots in Victoria. That's 8% of Victoria County voters. The search is still on for a new elections administrator for Victoria County. With the primaries and then May elections coming up soon, county officials are feeling the pressure to fill the current vacant elections administrator. Last month, the elections committee made an offer to a candidate, but that person accepted, then suddenly rejected the offer within a day or so, putting the committee back to square one again. County Judge Ben Zeller, who heads the Elections Administrator Search Committee, says that they are once again making progress in finding the right person.
We have a short list of candidates yet again with some interviews set up for next week. Our goal is to have this position filled as quickly after the primary as possible.
The current election administrator, Margetta Hill, announced her retirement at the end of last year. She agreed to stay on until the end of March in order to make a smooth transition for the new person. Community leaders celebrated the opening of the new Victoria Public Safety Headquarters today. Officials say the new facility is a major step forward in keeping the community safe, featuring updated systems and advanced technology. The building brings multiple emergency services under one roof, including police and fire, making communication faster and response times more efficient.
You know, it goes without saying that public safety is at the core of the services that we provide for our community, right? I mean, over half our budget goes to public safety. I mean, it's a big part of it. Everybody wants to be in a safe community, and in order to do that, we have to have the personnel and the facilities.
After the ribbon cutting, residents were invited inside for tours and the opportunity to speak directly with officials. Officials say community members can also schedule tours in the future and that the new facility is expected to increase staffing across departments. Leaders emphasized the headquarters were built with the community in mind and will help improve coordination during emergencies. Fire crews were battling a large grass fire in Refugio. The Refugio Lake fire broke out just after noon along U.S. Highway 183. Officials say the fire burned about 12 acres, is 75% contained at last check, and involved multiple agencies working together to contain the flames. Part of Highway 183 was shut down for a time due to the firefighting efforts. No structures were damaged and no injuries were reported. Fire officials say the fire started while property owners were doing work on the land when sparks ignited the dry grass. Goliad County's burn ban is extended for another 90 days through May 24th. The ban is on outdoor burning in the unincorporated areas of the county with the continuing dry conditions. The burn ban can remain in place unless it's ended earlier based on a determination that drought conditions no longer exist. How many times can I say the name dry? Our drought. Mac Perez has used those words quite often lately. Are we getting any relief in the near future?
We've got nothing really coming toward us in the near future. In fact, now that we're at the end of winter here, probably going to have to wait till the springtime thunderstorms, and that's probably late March and early April. But for the time being, we have to be very cautious. The winds are high and the heat is very high, and this line is going to divide the moist, humid air and the very dry air that's out west of us. which will be looking at record-breaking temperatures. So we're talking summer heat of near 100 down near the U.S. border, and we'll talk more about that. I don't expect the hundreds to be here, but it will be very close to a record. We'll talk about your forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Mac, thank you. The Cuero Chamber of Commerce hosted its annual State of the County Business Luncheon, discussing topics such as oil and gas. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley spoke with DeWitt County Judge Darrell Fowler about how the oil and gas industry could be affected.
With the Eagle Ford Shale running through DeWitt County, Judge Darrell Fowler says that producing large amounts of oil leads to significant revenue for state highways. With that income, Fowler says state highways, including State Highway 72, still need major repairs. After covering the cost, the county has about $22 million remaining.
We've put close to $250 million into our road system just to keep up. And it doesn't seem like we're making much headway, but we do have money in the bank. Hopefully, the Eagle Ford Shale will last long enough, and when it does finally end, we'll have money in the bank that we can complete those projects that are not even contemplated right now.
DeWitt County is planning to expand State Highway 72 into a 4-lane roadway, a project Fowler says is largely funded by oil and gas revenue.
We have an opportunity now to pay as we go and keep those things maintained and in good shape for the next generation. I learned early on in my life that maintenance that is deferred only costs more down the road. The time to work on something is when you get the bid on it and get busy on it, because costs do not go down.
Even though DeWitt County is planning to make repairs on highways, Judge Fowler says DeWitt County is in a good spot. Ray Mosley, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
If you see news happening in DeWitt County or anywhere in the Crossroads, call our newsroom at 361-576-0026 or send us an email at staff@crossroadstoday.com. Victoria residents will have a new place to drop off recycling. Starting March 7th, recyclables will go to the Waste Management Facility on Highway 59 next to Stallion Infrastructure Services instead of the George Street location. Drop-off happens the first Saturday of each month from 9 to 1, and you'll need a utility bill and ID. The city accepts paper, cardboard, metal cans, and plastics 1 and 2, but no glass and no plastic bags. Leaders say too many non-recyclable items are contaminating the system, so they're asking everyone to double check before they drop off. Here's some of the top headlines in the Port Lavaca Wave. Calhoun County ISD has created a newsletter aimed at explaining the complexities of school finance to parents and community members. And Calhoun County responds to a lack of a local warming center during the coldest days of January. To read these stories and more, go to portlavacawave.com. The first plaintiff to take social media companies to trial took the stand today in Los Angeles, alleging the tech platforms harmed her mental health as a child, accusing them of purposely making their platforms addictive to children and teens. The social media companies deny the allegations, saying they have guardrails in place to protect young users. ABC's Jacqueline Lee reports the social media companies deny the allegations, saying they have those guardrails.
I stand here on behalf of my generation.
Dozens of parents, youth leaders, and online safety advocates today demanding change when it comes to children and social media platforms.
These products were launched to us without guardrails, without education, without warning to any parents. They entered our homes quietly, catching families completely unprepared. We became the testing ground, and so did our children.
They spoke outside a Los Angeles courthouse where a landmark trial is unfolding that alleges major social media platforms were intentionally designed to be addictive for children and teens. Meta, Facebook and Instagram's parent company, and YouTube, which is owned by Google, both named as defendants and deny the allegations. They've argued other factors contribute to the mental health of young users and that they have added things like parental controls to protect them. TikTok and Snapchat were also named in the lawsuit, but settled without admitting wrongdoing.
We need safety by design. These platforms should not be every day trying to, make new safety precautions for kids. It's Band-Aid, as I said before, they don't work. We need comprehensive, safety design, and if that's forced through legislation, that's the way it should have to be.
The 20-year-old plaintiff, identified as KGM, expected to testify in court today. She claims she started using social media at age 6, became addicted to the app's features, which led to depression, anxiety, and body image issues. During opening statements, lawyers for Meta and Google claiming her depression and mental health condition were the result of family dynamics, not social media addiction. Plaintiffs allege the companies Meta and Google knowingly built features that encouraged compulsive use among young users and led to long-term mental harm. Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg testifying last week, defending Instagram's restrictions that ban users under 13, saying, "I always wish we could have gotten there sooner."
A shipment of berries rolling through McAllen Tuesday was hauling a lot more than fresh produce. Federal agents say they seized more than 1,600 pounds of crystal meth hidden inside the load. Authorities said the massive haul was part of a Homeland Security task force case that brought multiple federal and state agencies to the table. Officials have not released details on arrests, charges, or where the berry shipment was headed. The DEA says the case is still active and more information could arise as the work continues. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. The nominee for U.S. Surgeon General faces tough questioning in the Senate. Plus, officially, it's not spring, but it's not too early to start dealing with spring allergies.
Growing number of people in our community, nighttime doesn't mean sleep, it means survival. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting takes a closer look at homelessness here at home, the challenges people face every day, and what's being done to help.
Being able to go take a shower and rest and good to go to work the next day and be comfortable without having to go to work dirty, that'd be awesome.
Life without a home. Thursday at 10 p.m.
Surgeon General faced sharp questions from a Senate panel on Capitol Hill Wednesday during her confirmation hearing, which concluded without a vote. She sparred with senators about vaccines, pesticides, and birth control. The physician-turned-wellness influencer has faced ongoing criticism surrounding her credentials and policy positions. Sherelle Hubbard reports that despite not having an active medical license, she is set to become the next Surgeon General of the United States.
In her opening remarks Wednesday, President Donald Trump's nominee and RFK Jr.'s ally, 38-year-old Dr. Casey Means, made her pitch for becoming America's top doctor, Surgeon General.
Nothing is more urgent than restoring wholeness for Americans, physically, mentally, and societally. We are now the most chronically ill, high-income nation in the world.
Means spent a considerable amount of time Wednesday being grilled by senators, namely over vaccines. She would not directly answer a question regarding flu vaccines.
Do you believe that there's no evidence that the flu vaccine has efficacy in reducing serious injury or hospitalization? This is an easy one, doctor. This is an easy one.
When questioned further about childhood vaccines, she deferred to it being a conversation for doctors and their patients.
Would you encourage her to have her child vaccinated?
I'm not an individual's doctor, and every individual needs to talk to their doctor before putting a medication in their body.
Another point of contention, her credentials. Means did not complete her residency, and her medical license has lapsed, saying she has no plans to reactivate it.
Something that is going to be hard, I think, to be able to justify what a new vision is when you don't really even sort of have a sense of what the old vision is in your daily practice.
I'm Sherelle Hubbard reporting.
I do look forward to working.
A new study from the American Heart Association warns the number of women living with cardiovascular disease could rise in the coming years. Reviewing historical trends, surveys, and census estimates, the AHA says that women could be at greater risk without better prevention and early detection in the next 25 years. The association expects nearly a 4% rise in cases by 2050. Cardiovascular disease is already the leading cause of death for American women. Rising rates of diabetes, obesity, and high blood pressure are among the key causes. President Trump cut taxes on Social Security benefits, but that loss of revenue is expected to lead to a key Medicare trust fund running dry sooner than expected. The Congressional Budget Office's latest projection shows Medicare's Hospital Insurance Trust Fund will run out of money in 2040. That's 12 years earlier than the most recent estimate. The trust fund finances Medicare hospital visits, hospice care, short-term nursing care, and other services. CBO also projects reduced revenue from payroll taxes because it forecasts workers will earn less. The official start of spring is still more than 3 weeks away. But for the 1 in 4 U.S. adults and nearly 1 in 5 children who suffer from seasonal allergies, now is the time to prepare before the onslaught of symptoms. Mandy Gaither talks to an allergist about what steps to take before the spring allergy season starts.
It's almost that time of year again. The flowers, the sun, the pollen ready to pounce.
And you definitely don't want to wait for the onset of symptoms.
Dr. Rohit Katyal with National Jewish Health says if you suffer from seasonal allergies, now is the time to get ready before spring has sprung and symptoms are triggered so the reaction isn't as extreme.
And in most places in the United States, the trees go first. So those who are tree allergic, they're going to feel the most symptoms here early in the season.
To prevent severe allergy symptoms, Katyal says to go ahead and start using steroid nasal sprays, which can help reduce inflammation, swelling, and mucus in the nose. He says most should be sprayed once a day before and throughout the season.
That's a great one to start, but that can't be used as needed. Once somebody begins those nasal steroid sprays, they should be used daily.
Katyal says to take daily oral antihistamine medication as needed. If your allergies tend to start earlier, he says it's okay to take the pills in advance. But if your spring symptoms are late bloomers, like if you have grass allergies, consider starting the pills closer to grass season around late April.
If you tend to have really severe eye symptoms where you really have a lot of daily itch, then the eye drops are also a nice addition to the regimen.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
To get more news, weather, and sports, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Thousands of pigs were killed in this barn fire on Wednesday. The blaze broke out in Madison County, Ohio. Smoke from the noontime fire could be seen from miles away. The local fire chief said there were roughly 7,500 pigs inside the barn when the fire sparked. Crews were able to save about 1,500 of them, but 6,000 died. No humans were injured. Authorities said the fire's a big loss for the area, a mainly agricultural region of the state of Ohio. Here's some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record. After a recent wildfire scorched 91 acres in DeWitt County, the Texas A&M Forest Service urges all Texans to prepare for wildfires and other disasters by assembling an emergency go kit. And the Cuero Development Corporation and Cuero Chamber of Commerce hosted Cuero Rising, a quarterly breakfast meeting for networking and discussion of business resources. To read these stories and more, visit DeWittCountyToday.com.
And coming up, we'll be talking about those gusty winds and the potential for fire danger here in the Crossroads. At this hour of the night, we're at 69 degrees. The winds are still up at 16 to 18 miles an hour. Managed to get up to 82 today. That's way above our 71 30-year average high temperature. Tomorrow, well, 93 was our record for today. 89 is the record for tomorrow, and we're actually going to be very close to it. We'll talk about it coming up in a moment. Well, good evening, everybody. Yes, we are looking at some warm, windy weather to continue over the Crossroads, and we continue with the fire danger. You know, not only are there burn bans and advisories and all that, but you and me just need to be very cautious, very careful with anything that looks like flame. Not only we don't want anything to start, because a 30-mile-an-hour wind, it's going to be hard to put out. Also, it's better that we not start anything, that we don't have to go attack later on it as a force. Now, this line here, you're going to be seeing this for the rest of the month or so. This is the dry line. We've got humid air on this side of it where you and I are, and on the back side of it, because everything's flowing around this low, it's getting a southwest wind. And so that is a very hot, dry wind. So temperatures on that side of it, well, they'll be really rocketing over the next couple of days. In fact, Laredo may be looking at their first 100-degree temperature of the season. And what does the calendar say? It's still February. Go figure. But high pressure is out in the southwest. It's making this bump here. And all of the storms are basically going to be traveling along this line and then down into the eastern states. So basically what I'm saying to you is that we're out of the rain business, and there is no storm coming in from the west to save us. Therefore, we need to be cautious all the way through this early part of the year. Now, we have fire weather advisories here along Lake Charles. No explicit advisories for us yet, but you know, we just need to be careful. Up here, because it's going to be so arid, dry in the west areas, we're looking at a red flag warning. That's for high fire danger. Now, here are the winds. Notice that they're coming up out of the southeast as far as we're concerned here along the coastal bend. But up here in western areas, you see that's actually a southwest wind that's going to be fairly strong. That's behind the dry line. So that's the way that system adds up, and therefore we need to be cautious with those very dry winds. Now here is the forecast danger, fire danger rather. And the moderate is in the blue. In the green is a low fire danger, which is good. Why? Because the humidities are rising. But it's very high in the yellows, where it's very, very dry out on the other side of the line. Now, just to give you an idea of how bad it is, and sorry to be a Debbie Downer here, but for December, we only had 93 hundredths. We were supposed to get 2.3. So that's a whole inch, 0.4 below what we're supposed to get for that month. January, we had 78 hundredths. We were supposed to get 2.6. Yeah, we're still below. February, we only got 79 hundredths. We're supposed to get almost 2. So in the last 3 months alone, we're almost, 5 inches below where we're supposed to be in terms of rainfall. So it gives the idea that we just need to be prepared and cautious for anything that happens over the next few months. Tomorrow, about a 79, still with a south wind. If that dry line moves through, we'll spike the temperature, but right now I'm thinking we're 88 down in the Cuero area. Here is the dry front, which comes in Friday. Not a big one, but it just knocks the temperature down for a day, and we stay in the 80s. Next week we'll have a lot of moisture and humidity that may give us some fog and low clouds, and that's why we had that slight chance of a little drizzle or two in the morning hours. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. And here's Max with your sports.
So, Mac, you're saying that there's not a lot of rain we're having, but Laredo's getting 100 degrees. You know, that's just, we're in Texas, right? Yep. Fortunately, we got to get that rain to help out here at the fixture. But we do had a lot, though, of not a lot of rain. We had a lot of signings, though, that happened today on the Crossroads. I'll highlight that next. And some Houston Texans news. Don't go anywhere. Yesterday, we highlighted Goliad Tigers boys basketball team winning at the buzzer versus the Yoakum Bulldogs 54-51 behind junior Corbin Rosenquist. Well, two of the other stars in the game, and Grant Winham, senior, and freshman Shane Davis, highlighted how they felt about that wild shot that ended the game and how it's going to help them out going into the area round versus the Randolph Rohawks.
I mean, the ball got turned over. I see a ball on the ground. I see Joe picks it up. He gives that pass off, and as I saw Corbin pull that shot, and I was like, that's game. I knew it. I mean, it's just staring at that ball, like watching it. It's going in slow motion. My heart's like stopped completely, and then bang, it's just in, and then emotions just start flooding from there. Just super exciting.
On the floor, I don't know how it got to Corbin, but it got to him somehow. And, you know, I'm in the corner. I see it. I put it up. I'm like this. Goes in. I'm already knowing it's going in. I ran to him.
Both Davis and Winham hope that can bring that excitement against the Randolph Rohawks. That'll be 6:30 p.m. on Friday night at Floresville High School. We have all the rest of the boys basketball schedule. It's going to happen. The Shiner Comanches will face the Mumford Bulldogs at Fayetteville High School at 7 p.m. there tomorrow night. Then Yorktown will face the Goldthwaite Eagles. That is Friday at 7 p.m. at Bandera High School. And then finally, the Industrial Cobras look to beat the San Antonio Cougars. That's going to be at 7:30 p.m. at Gonzales High School. So wish all these teams luck, including Goliad, for the second round of the playoffs. Earlier today, the Oakland Bulldogs, they had multiple football athletes sign their letters of intent to go out to the next level. One of the signees was star wide receiver Xavier Barnett, who put that pen to paper to go to SMU. Then Jaden Johnson, Oliver Ortiz signed out to Midwestern State, and then Dylan Chimick signed out to Texas Lutheran University, with Jace Morales heading out to Army University. So congrats to all these signees committing to the next level. How about Victoria East High School, where current senior Avery Blank announced her commitment out to Texas A&M Victoria for softball, and Blank has been a contributing force for the Titans in her 4 years, helping them go 15-17 overall, 10-2 in district last season. And again, looking to see if they can have similar results. So she's going to be at the VISD tournament starting tomorrow morning out there at Victoria East, where you have also St. Joe, Victoria West, a lot of other teams that are going to be competing in that tournament. Now, some big news for the Houston Texans fans is earlier today, the Texans and the Howard Hughes communities and Harris County, they have all announced there a transformation of district space and entertainment area, where it's going to be now called the Toro District in 2029. Earlier today, they had a press conference about this new renovated site, where Texas owner Cal McNair and Hughes highlighted what the Texans will kind of be beginning their new practice at this new destination, along with how this will mean to the community of Northwest Houston.
2029, this will be the home of the Houston Texans outside of game day, and it's a major development for the organization. It will reshape the way we engage with fans, youth, partners, and the greater Houston community.
These are built over decades, not development cycles. They're built with patience, with discipline, and with partners who are willing to take a long-term view. This partnership between the Houston Texans, Harris County, and Howard Hughes reflects that mindset.
Now, I can see on your screen right here, these are the future layouts of the new Toro District for the Texans and for other events that are going to be happening here in the future. And Don, I know you kind of mentioned this story to me earlier in the day, and I think this will be a big, just for me personally, I think this will be a big area for the Houstons, especially going in the future. Now, new area, it's always good to be in a new environment, I always say. What'd you say there too, Don?
Well, I think so. I like their workout area now. They're right across the street from NRG Stadium, but it was built in 2002. So it's maybe showing its age a little bit, and it grows the community out there for the Texans. So we'll see what happens. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather, plus some of the most important documents in U.S. history are about to hit the road, and they're coming to South Texas. Finally tonight, workers at the National Archives in Washington, D.C. are packing the founding documents of our country for the Freedom Plane. It's a traveling exhibition that will bring founding era documents to 8 American cities throughout this year. The tour starts on March 6th in Kansas City. It will be the only stop in Texas at the Houston Museum of Natural Science from May 8th through the 25th. Included in the exhibition will be the original engraving of the Declaration of Independence, a rare copy of the U.S. Constitution in draft form, and the voting records of the Constitutional Convention. And since we are speaking of history, of course, we're looking at American history there. Big Texas history coming up Monday, the 190th anniversary of Texas Independence Day, when the Declaration of Independence was signed there on Washington on the Brazos near Brenham, yes.
On the Brazos River, how about that?
Yeah.
And it was the beginning of the Republic of Texas.
That's right.
So we were our own country there for about, I thought it was 10 years.
It was, let's see, 36 to 45, so 9 years. We are the only state in the U.S. that that was a country before it became a state.
That's right. That's why we have our own flag.
That's right.
Anyway, folks, tomorrow we've got the flag waving in the wind. How about that? We're looking at 87 as a high temperature. That's very close to setting a record. Just a little break on Friday in terms of a north wind, but we are looking at very summer-like temperatures all the way through. Next week, hopefully we'll see a little bit of cloud cover and fog and maybe some mist as opposed to the hot, dry winds, which are no help at all.
But no fog tomorrow morning.
Oh, no, the wind's too strong for that.
Okay, well, there's a break there. Okay. Thank you, Mac, and thanks for joining us. Join 25 News Now, sunrise at 5 a.m. Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.